Raleigh, like a
Sir
car
Walter.
rally. Sir Walter is
Walter
my
Raleigh.
ancestor, actually. Yes. Yeah.
Lisa Raleigh is
Yes,
with us.
yeah.
An ancestor, Sir Walter.
Yeah, yes, he's my ancestor.
Did you read a lot about him?
I did all my projects at school on Sir Walter Raleigh. I was very proud at the time that he was my ancestor. I mean, obviously, many, many moons ago.
He discovered tobacco, though.
Tobacco.
You're a wellness.
And potatoes. So, and I love potatoes. Who doesn't, really? But yeah, so he did something good and something bad.
Yeah.
But he was knighted by the Queen,
Was that Queen Elizabeth?
Yep. So yeah, but I mean, this is my dad's line, obviously, and it was, 10, 12 generations ago. So it was a very long time ago.
Now, you're well known as a wellness celebrity. What's a wellness celebrity?
I hate the word or description celebrity. I'd rather just call myself an advocate or an expert or something like that, because I have been in the industry for 20 years. So I've definitely done my 10,000 hours. But a celebrity is just, I guess, because I've done quite a lot of TV time and I've done a lot of TV shows that people then put me into that category. But a celebrity is a bit of a scary name.
But now you're doing YouTube.
So I mean, I still do quite a lot of television, but I prefer to just do content for my own social media pages because it's my audience, it's people that already kind of buy into my philosophy. It's easier to, just whatever we are advocating or whatever we're promoting, I've already got a buy-in. I already have my markets, always looking for new clients to change, their lives and that. But just social media is kind of where it's at, We've got a good platform there, so I focus on that.
We say here it's the by appointment viewing to on-demand viewing, and how the world has moved quite aggressively in that direction. But another member of our BizNews community is Mary Holrood, who started Wayless looking there 35 years ago.
Yes.
And she's had to live her brand, and she hasn't got fat.
Yes.
You can't have Wayless and get fat. But you're the same.
Yeah.
What's your own fitness regime?
So for those that maybe don't know who I am, I mean, I have been in the fitness and wellness industry since I was very young, and I have tried and tested since I left school. Yeah, so I studied to do what I do. So I studied exercise science. I went overseas for about 2 years, got some experience working in some gyms over there, and then came back and started my own business very young. I was 19 years old. So I've actually never worked for anybody in my life. I've only ever worked for myself.
I mean,
we are an entrepreneurial family.
Business.
Every single one of my family members owns their own business. None of us have ever been employed. So I guess it's in our family genes. It's what we were exposed to when we grew up, hustling, working hard, the sacrifices that kind of are required. It was just what I surrounded myself with. And I'm just a very self-disciplined human being. I think being a gymnast, ballerina kind of in high school, that is what it teaches you for sure, is that you are your best and worst enemy. You've got to put in the hard yards. You can't kind of like count on too many people. I know it sounds terrible, but it's like, that is what I did. I was a gymnast, ballerina. Everything was about discipline. It was about showing up. It was about self-control. And it was a one-man show. That is all the sports I chose at school were ones around that. And my family were all like that.
And at 19, that business that you started?
Yeah. So it was a mobile personal training business. So I had my little rusted out Corsa, and I put very, very easy to maneuver and move and not too heavy home gym equipment in the back. And I would travel to different clients' homes around KZN, and I would perform a personal training workout in the comfort of their home. And it was very niche at that stage. I mean, this is 20 years ago. I was one of the sort of the first in Durban doing this. And that is how I started. I did that for about a year until it became incredibly tedious, and all that traveling and, as a woman, small framed, it was quite laborious and quite taxing on me. So I got a premises, and that's when I kind of started my whole personal training thing. Was in my home, actually. My first gym ever was in my home. And then from there I went to a proper place, a proper business community. And I had a rent, and I had all of those scary things, and that was at the age of 20. So after 1 year of doing it from home, I got the right space, and that was my first gym. And then after a few years, I got 2, and then I got 3, and then I got a really big break, which not every personal trainer or fitness enthusiast gets, and that was a big TV show for ETV, and it was called The Biggest Loser. And for South Africa, I was chosen as the female trainer. There's only ever 2 trainers. And there was Bruce, male trainer for the red team, and there was Lisa, trainer for the blue team. And that helped my career. It was a platform that I had only ever dreamed of.
Did the people actually lose weight?
They did. I mean, we had
Did you work them hard?
Hard. And it was really quite a scary thing. I mean, I had no TV training. It was... I got told on the Monday lunchtime, and the next Saturday we started shooting at 4 a.m. There was no preparation time.
Very South African thing there.
Yeah, very lastminute.com. It was a huge production company based up here in Joburg, and there was very little training. We just had to go straight in, and it changed my entire career. It changed my life, and to this day, I'm forever grateful for them. Choosing me. That phone call changed my life, and it helped me to catapult my career and have a much bigger audience and a bigger platform. And I'll always be grateful to that show, because not everybody gets that break.
So what happened when you got that rocket, as it were, through massive exposure?
So we started shooting for about 12 weeks, and we helped to transform these 7 individuals from all over South Africa, different races, different stages of life, different reasons why they were in that obese condition. They all came and stayed in this house together in Westbrook, in Durban. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And they had to get on, and it was a lot. I mean, different races, sexes, ages, stages of life, cultures, religions, and generally all of them had gone through some kind of trauma in order to be in that situation. Nobody wants to be that overweight, but there's always a reason.
How obese were these people?
No, grotesquely obese. You're looking at 130 kilograms for some of the ladies, up to 170 kgs, like really scary high risk patients. So yeah, I say patients because they had all kinds of high risks. But we worked with an amazing team, huge team, and through all of our efforts, they did incredibly well. But we did go to all extremes to make them lose weight, even overnight, training through the night, training in the rain on the beach, putting black bags on them so that they would sweat. We did slightly inhumane things because TV is dramatic, and they wanted those dramatic weight losses for the TV cameras, and it was not sustainable. So after that show, because it was quite a big show, after that I was inundated with requests, people wanting that kind of weight loss, and they would do whatever it took, and they would pay whatever. They will even come and move to Durban for 12 weeks if that means that they could look like that. So I started a wellness and weight loss clinic in KZN. And again, because now I had these gyms and they were all filled with slimmer, fitter individuals, my home became this wellness space for all the big clients. And so my wellness clinic started, and I offered lectures and personal training sometimes twice a day. We did all their meal preparation for them. We did massage for them. We did colonic hydrotherapy. We looked after these individuals from the inside out, psychology, all of that, and put them through their paces over 12 to 16 weeks. And I did that for quite a while. About 2 years, I had that sort of business, and it was a sideline business to my main gyms. It was something that I was passionate about. I learned so much from these clients, and it kind of prompted me to study further, study a bit into nutrition. I studied behavioral kinesiology. I studied DNA, life coaching, because wellness and health and wellness is not just sort of like linear. It's not just let's eat a little, fewer calories, let's move a bit more. That is a very sort of in and out way of looking at it. It's too simplistic. A human being is very complex, and there's a lot of elements at play. So unpacking or peeling the onion is very important if you want to get long-term results. Figuring out what makes somebody tick, and making sure that you kind of looking deep into their history and looking into their habits and their triggers. There's a lot that goes into it.
It must be expensive though, because it's a big investment from your side to get to know someone that well.
Yes, it is. And I mean, that is why after 10 years of doing it, I decided to sell my business and soon after that I moved to Joburg, because I felt quite frustrated by the fact that I was in a brick and mortar environment. I sold time, really, and there's only so many people I could help in those 4 walls every day and every month, and I felt limited in a big way. And I knew that my calling would be something that was much bigger, something that was online, something that was more virtual, something that I could expand to every corner of the globe. You know what I mean? Like I needed to to break free. And so that's why I sold those gyms, and I said, right, now I'm going to go and expand and do something that's online where the sky's the limit. I can help thousands and not be limited by time. I want to sort of put together these packages and these experiences whereby I could make a big difference. And so that's been my goal over the last 10 years, is making a bigger impact and not having this little space that's kind of, I felt restricted.
You couldn't have found a better partner when you're talking about online than my friend
yes.
and your husband, Stafford Marcy, he was the Google South Africa inaugurating general manager.
Yep.
He was on my board when I had a listed company, MoneyWeb. I regard him very highly, and I think anybody who's met Stafford feels the same way about him. Did he play much of a role, or was he so busy doing his own thing that you had to get on with it?
Well, Steph and I have only been married for, I think, 6 years now. We've known each other for a decade. So he, only in the last 18 months, has he actually been part of my company. Before that, we tried to keep things very separate. So he did his own thing in the tech world, and I did my wellness thing in my world. And, COVID is actually what brought him into my business, because my business started to grow quite dramatically during that time. We can get into the detail of how it's kind of changed and morphed, but it started growing because of the whole demand for at-home online workouts. And he only really started taking me 100% seriously when I was the turnover was growing, and our client base was huge, and we had a problem. We had too many clients, and we didn't actually have enough manpower. To be honest, I had 5 staff at the beginning of COVID, and we now have over 65 staff.
Wow.
Yeah, and growing every week. And so it was just, he took me seriously then, and I said, I think I need help. And he at that stage was working in a big corporate, and he made the call, and he said, I think I need to come and join you. I think I need to help you from the back office, putting in sort of a lot more procedures and making sure that this business can scale, because you have such a beautiful concept, something that is so unique, something that everybody wants and needs. But unless you get the backside sorted, the systems, the ops side, you're going to break under your own success. You know what I mean? So I am very much on the front end, sort of strategy, marketing. That is my vibe. I'm a creative, actually. I love people, but I'm really bad. My weaknesses are I really don't enjoy the admin side, and then the back office ops side is daunting and terrifying and a passion killer for me. So he stepped in and he helped to make the big decisions and take the bigger risks and get big parties and big players involved, big partners, and helped me to sort out the logistics side of the company, which has become incredibly tricky. And and it's growing every day. So he helped me to take those big next steps, those scary steps. And because we locked elbows, everything felt like less of a risk because we were doing it together. And that has been, I think, our superpower, is that we are doing this together. And it's
a team.
I'm a team. I trust him with all of me.
But if you weren't married to Stafford, to get him to pay that much attention to this incredible business that you've got, and we'll unpack it in a moment, would have been difficult, because here was a guy who's been courted by companies, multinationals. I know him well. I've known him for a long time. He could be living in, you guys, well, you wouldn't be because of you, but he could be living in Seattle today, or he could be living in Redmond, anywhere in the world, given the demand. And yet, he decided, after seeing what you're up to, that this is an extraordinary opportunity, a real exponential business. From 5 to 65 people, how did that happen?
Yeah. So we made a call as a family. I mean, it was a big deal for Steph. I remember for about 6 months, he was like tossing and turning with this whole idea of working with me. Like, would it affect our marriage? Would it ever make enough money to sustain our family? Not just a sideline project, but would it be enough to retire one day? Could it be that big? And he is forever being, not poached, because they're not getting him. Never, okay, hear this, babe. But he's being approached all the time by the most incredible companies to come and work for them. But he has a different mindset. Steph has done all of that. I think he's ticked almost every box, when it comes to working for these beautiful big companies, starting his own companies. He's been successful at some and not at others, but he is definitely a man who knows his worth. He's been through so much that I don't think he cares about all of that anymore. He wants to be with his family. He wants to have a business that makes a difference. And we are in the wellness game, and we do make a difference every day. And he could see that. He could see the difference that we were making, or I was making over that time, and he wanted in. He wanted to have a bigger purpose. He wanted to go to bed at night knowing that because this business exists, there are thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people out there that are living better lives, that we're saving lives every day. And I think when you get to a certain age, maybe it kicks in for men. I'm not too sure because I'm not a man, but as a woman, I feel that too. Where some things just don't matter anymore. The prestige and the title and all of that just falls away, and it's all about purpose, giving back. How am I going to leave the world better? It seems quite a depressing thing to say, but like the end is in sight. So what value am I going to add? What difference am I going to make in my last 20 working years? And I think Steph had this big epiphany moment that he really wanted to do something with me. He wanted to make a difference, and he wanted it to be a family business, something where we're working together for a common goal, because he could see that I am never going to stop working, and neither was he. So the only way we're going to see each other enough, and we're going to be able to travel together around the globe, we're going to be able to, work together, is if we work on one thing. Otherwise, he's going in one direction and I'm going in another. And there's a good chance that the marriage will land up just, we'll lose each other. And I think a lot of marriages do when there's two very strong players in the room. You can drift. And not because you wanted to, it's just because each person has their own agenda and each person wants to be good at what they do, and it's so demanding, that career.
But it's an incredible niche that you're in.
Yeah.
And again, that 5 people to 65 people through COVID. How did that happen? Was it just, did it evolve in that way, or was there a particular plan?
When I went when COVID hit, that was in the March 2020, I remember thinking, oh boy, like it's sink or swim. We at that stage were growing nicely, but slowly. And rebounding, that's one of the big businesses that we do. It's bouncy rebounding, was not really taken as seriously as it is today. It was still a little bit of a fad, a little bit of a trend. However, it was starting to gain a little bit of popularity because of a lot of focus and attention over the 3 years before that. But now everybody was training at home, and to buy all your home fitness equipment was quite an expensive outlay if you want to buy treadmills and big equipment, big machines, whereas a rebounder really does assist the entire family, from a young child through to the granny that lives at home.
So it's a little trampoline.
It's a mini trampoline. So you get the spring ones, you get the bungee cord ones, but when you're on it, everything becomes lower in impact. So if you have an injury or back problem, you're recovering from a surgery or something like that, it's a much safer, more forgiving surface. So everything that you do on a rebounder is just less than what you do on the ground. However, it's not less effective. It's more effective because of the unsturdy, imbalanced nature of the platform. So NASA's been using it for a very long time. For the astronauts that return from space, their muscles have atrophied, their bone density is reduced, and they put them on rebounders to quickly get it back up again. And so they've been using it for a long time. And I think everyone loves the NASA analogy, because if NASA uses it, it must be the best in the world, But it was starting to gain a bit of popularity, but COVID definitely helped our business. There's no doubt about it. It was affordable, it was fun, it was effective, it was something the whole family could enjoy, and we had a whole online presence with it. We had programs and we had live classes, and something that we did sort of in the middle of COVID was we made all of the live classes totally free. So nobody had to pay a cent. Once they had the piece of equipment and the accessories, the actual workouts became free, and so this community started to grow. And that's what's been really strong. It's been a superpower for us, is these loyal, diehard fans that show up every day online. They buy every single program we put out there, every accessory that we launch.
Tribe.
There's a tribe of bouncers, the bounty, we call them our bounty family. And what happened is, because there was so little choice out there as to what exercise you could do, because gyms kept locking down, opening up, locking down, and people were scared to go to the gym because people were touching the machines, and even though there was hand sanitizer, you were definitely at risk when you were at the gym. So a lot of people decided to just work out from home. That was it. But now, how do you get your cardiovascular exercise working from home if you don't have a treadmill? It's not safe. Winter hits Joburg and it's icy. So it just became more and more convenient to actually work out on a rebounder. You throw in all the free classes, and the fact that somebody would do this every day of the week because they needed the movement, they needed the outlet, and results started happening. And people started really seeing the benefits.
But did they stay? And I ask this because my friend Sally has got a yoga studio, yoga experience, and she brought in online classes as well, which were very popular during lockdown, but they've stopped subsequent.
Yeah.
What's happened with you?
I think it's because we're definitely in a niche market. I mean, there's a lot of yoga places out there. There's a lot of yoga teachers that went online and maybe aren't doing it anymore. Same with Pilates and bar and HIIT and home workouts, where you don't need any equipment. Those became incredibly popular. But what is unique is this rebounder. It does make it unique. And I knew this. I mean, I've been in the industry for 20 years. I knew that there was something so incredible about this rebounder. When you get on it, you feel like a child. You feel weightless and free. Any injuries that you have on the land, you don't feel them when you're on the rebounder. If you're really overweight, you feel like a superwoman when you're on there, or man, because you just feel like you could do this forever. There's no pain. You feel light for the first time in maybe decades. So there's that stickiness, and the rebounding was a differentiator, and we are the only ones doing it the way we're doing in our country. And we are playing in global leagues now. So there's about 5 or 6 big brands around the world that are in the same league as Bounty at the moment.
Wow.
But we pushed hard, and we never stopped shooting, and we never stopped innovating, and we never stopped just pushing. It's
a global business run from Johannesburg.
Yeah, run from Joburg. We've got clients all over the world now, including our business in the UK, which we opened in November. So we have a whole digital presence as well as physical product in the UK. That was a huge challenge for us, going to another whole part of the world, and the logistics behind that. And even more so, logistics we sorted after a few months. The big thing is marketing and PR and presence in a new territory where nobody knows who you are. That has been our biggest challenge, is getting our name out there, getting influencers to buy into the product, competing with brands that have been there for a long time with no brick and mortar presence. That's been hard. So the UK, we still are pushing, and we're growing every week, but it is slow and frustrating. Whereas in SA, it's like people know us now. They take us seriously. It's a lot easier. And we've got plans now to launch in the US, which is very exciting, in the next 3 months. But now we've learned so much from our UK launch that we know exactly what our strategy is going to be for the US. Like, it's going to be very different to how we approach the UK.
It's an amazing story. And you're going to be telling 250 members of our tribe, the Business Tribe, in the Drakensberg. We're getting together in a week's time.
I'm excited.
And you and Steph are going to do a tag team, he told me.
Yep.
You told me. Just what can the
people
conference delegates expect?
Well, we don't want to just talk about, the business and the growth and all of that. We'd love to impart some of our experience, some of our our learnings, I think, some of our business advice to anyone that's in the audience that has a smaller business that's maybe growing to the next level. Staff has amazing insights around that. So we'd love to add some value, but I would also love to impart a whole lot of my wellness advice as well. So not just talking about business, but how important it is to have a really strong, healthy body so that you can have all that energy that you are going to require to break through wherever you currently are. I mean, we all know it's a cliche now, but health is wealth. But how do you get into a healthy state? Like, how do you do that with science playing such a big part? The world is different now, but there's so much more available at our fingertips now than there was 5-10 years ago, that you have a lot of control. We all think it's genetics, it's our parents had this and that, so it's kind of written on the wall. But we have so much power, and people don't realize that, and they don't realize what's out there. So I would love to educate people a little bit more as to what's new and how they can take control of their health, and how it doesn't have to be such a crazy, expensive, onerous task, but that there's something for everybody. So I've got a lot I want to say, and I think Steph has got a lot that he wants to say on the more business side of things.
I don't know how you're going to keep it to an hour, but
I have no idea, but we will make sure that we practice and consolidate so that we can I want to get all my points across, and so does he.
I'll tell you, there's a big screen in front of you.
Okay.
That flashes when you get close to zero. So you'll have that little bit of support.
Yeah.
But we live in Bryanston, and
Yes.
I saw your new store. Now that's a first for you.
Yes.
So you're this massive online presence,
Yeah.
and yet you've opened in the Nickel Way a a shop.
Yes, our first brick and mortar store. That was a very strategic move for us. It was something that we had been kind of planning, trying to find exactly the right spot that was central enough for all of those in Joburg to kind of come and try before they buy. Because a lot of what we do on the Body Kind, which is an athleisure range that makes women feel incredible whilst they're on their wellness journey. So celebrating women of all different shapes and sizes and stages in life. You know, I've been bigger when I was pregnant postpartum. I have a lot of clients that are bigger. I listened very intently to what they needed, what they wanted, what wasn't there. I know what brands are overseas. I've worn them all. And there was a massive gap in the market in South Africa for sort of middle of the range from an affordability, but very high quality, something that really celebrated women's different forms. So that's Body Kind, and that is in that store.
That's clothing.
That's clothing. It's athleisure. So like what I'm wearing right now, you know, a tracksuit, but beautiful soft fabric, something that you could go to the gym in and then also go to movies in or go to breakfast and still not feel like you're completely and utterly in your gym clothes. So athleisure. And so we've expanded that, as well as South Africa's first ever fully adjustable support bra, which has been a huge product for us. Being able to help ladies that are bigger busted, that are in pain actually. They're limited by their movements because of being so big. So we have a bra that supports them.
It's crazy
that
it's the first that you had to invent.
It's crazy. So we're following some global trends there, and we've brought it in, and we're innovating and R&Ding at the moment. We've got a new version 2 coming out in 6 weeks, which is going to be 1,000,000 times better than the first version. As always, it has to get better and better and better. So Body Kind's the one, but that is very tactile. You have to have a bra fitting. You have to come and try the fabric before you buy. You have to fit it on. You have to feel amazing. So that store is, half of that is Body Kind, and the other half is the rebounding side. Come and try all the different rebounders because they are so different. And then come and try a program. You can actually put it on the screen. Well, we have a big screen there. Put the earphones on and come and try out all the programs to see which one is best for you. We have trained staff. We have all the accessories there for you to touch and feel. It's a very experiential store. And sometimes people can be in there for a good 90 minutes. From the time they arrive to say, okay, tell me about this. Now, you know, they've tried the rebounder. Then they get the accessories. Then they get the bra fitting.
Is it working? Are
it
people
is
coming?
So busy. We are very blessed. I don't think it's the only one that we're going to do this year. I mean, I've just had one baby and I'm about to have twins, I think. Steph's like, we have to open up another 2. So I think within the next 6 months, there will be at least 1. And within the next year, there'll be a 3rd. So definitely not close by. It'll definitely be in other provinces. So we're working hard at finding the right spot so that we can be central in those provinces too. So it was very strategic for us to have that spot. And our next baby, which is about to be born on Sunday, so a few days before this conference, it's the biggest ever rebounding studio. It's the biggest one in Africa. So it can fit 75 people, all bouncing together with some brand new things that have never been seen before in South Africa, brand new low impact forms of exercise techniques. Even we've never done it. So we are very excited. And we're busy with fit out at the moment, and it's in Bryanston. So it's nice and central again to be able to service people from all over Gauteng. So that's we've been working hard at, but it's been a quick fit out. It's the venue we've been looking for a year, and finally we find the perfect spot that's secure with parking. We can make a huge noise because it's underneath a bar. So we didn't have to compete with music. With cement ceilings, it's really hard to find a place with cement ceilings, and that was very important to us. And just to have that expansive space to play, and I teach instructors all around the world, so I have my courses there. We shoot all of our content from there. We run our live classes from there. We stream live 24 times a week to a global audience, as well as physical classes where people, a lot of people still feel like they need to come in and bounce. They can't do it at home. They don't have the discipline just yet. So they have to come in, get hooked, and then they'll have that discipline because they love it to do it at home on the other days. So yeah, things are busy. But we love it, and Steph and I make a great team. We complement each other in so many ways. So yeah, I'm excited about what's ahead.
Well, the delegates to the BizNews conference are also very excited to be meeting you, and we're going to be following your story very closely over the years to come, because what you've achieved already, this power couple that you are,
thanks, Alec.
Going into the UK and the US, wow. Lisa Raleigh, well, you heard the story. And I'm sure this is one that we'll be returning to in time to come. And I'm Alec Hogg from biznews.com.